Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, somewhere between 3 and 5 a.m., and wondered why? You look at the clock, your mind starts racing, and you can't go back to sleep. It feels strange, almost as if something or someone is calling you. Most people dismiss it, they roll over, check their phone, and drift back into shallow rest. But what if this moment, this quiet hour when the world sleeps, was not a disturbance, but an invitation? What if waking up at this time means something deeper is trying to reach you? There's an ancient belief, one that masters and monks have spoken of for centuries, that the hours before dawn are sacred. The mind is silent, the world is still, and your spirit is wide awake. Between 3 and 5 a.m., your body's energy shifts. Science calls it the time of deep physiological change, when your subconscious mind is most active. Your thoughts are clearer, emotions are raw, and your intuition, that voice you often silence during the day, finally has space to speak. But most people never listen. They drown it out with noise, distraction, and routine. That's why so many feel lost, tired, disconnected from themselves. If you wake up at this hour, it isn't a coincidence. It's a moment of alignment, a window where the mind, body, and soul meet. It's your higher self whispering, wake up, not just from sleep, but from life as you've been living it. The truth is, these early hours hold power. Power to change your mindset, power to break the patterns that keep you stuck, power to start your day not in reaction, but in intention. And if you learn to use it, it can completely transform your life. Imagine starting your day before the world begins to demand from you, before messages, tasks, and expectations flood your mind. In that silence, there's clarity. In that darkness, there's light. You begin to see your fears for what they are, stories, not truths. You begin to feel your purpose again, not the one handed to you by society, but the one written deep inside you. Every great thinker, every leader, every monk who found peace, they all understood this secret. The early hours are the gateway to awakening. They are not a curse of sleeplessness. They are a call to awareness. So if you find yourself awake when the world sleeps, don't be afraid. Don't rush to turn off the feeling or fill it with distraction. Pause, breathe. Feel the stillness. There is something inside you that wants your attention. It's not asking you to do more. It's asking you to become more, to reconnect with the part of you that dreams when your eyes are closed and doubts when they open. To remember that you are not just a body that wakes, works, and sleeps. You are consciousness, trying to awaken fully. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, you'll learn how to use this sacred time. The 5 powerful things you can do between 3 and 5 a.m. that can shift your energy, sharpen your mind, and bring peace to your spirit. This is more than a morning routine. It's a path to awakening. And if you're hearing this now, it means your time has come to rise. Not just from your bed, but into the life you were meant to live. When you wake in those quiet hours, your mind is not broken. It's awakening. The world teaches you to fill every silence, to keep moving, to keep doing. But the truth is, stillness is the birthplace of strength. Those early moments are not a mistake. They are a mirror. They show you what's inside, stripped of distraction. The fears you've buried, the dreams you've postponed, the emotions you've ignored, everything you run from during the day stands quietly in front of you before dawn, asking to be faced. And that is where transformation begins, not in noise, but in presence. The first thing you must do is breathe, not the shallow breaths you take when you're rushing through life, but deep conscious breaths that bring you back into your body. Feel the air move through you, slow and deliberate. Breathing is how you anchor the spirit. It tells your nervous system you are safe. It calms the storm in your chest and opens space for clarity. In this hour, when your mind tries to wander toward worry, anxiety, or regret, bring it back with breath. Each inhale is a reminder you are here. Each exhale is a release of everything that no longer serves you. Then listen, not to the world, but to the silence. There's a sacred frequency in those hours, one you can only hear when you stop trying to control everything. It's the sound of your intuition, the voice that's been drowned out by fear and overthinking. Between 3 and 5 a.m., that voice becomes clear. It might tell you a truth you've avoided. It might reveal a direction you've ignored. It might whisper a calling you've always felt but never trusted. Don't rush to interpret it. Just listen. The wisdom that guides you doesn't shout, it whispers. And when you finally become quiet enough, it begins to speak. As you listen, notice the emotions that rise. The unease, the doubt, the guilt, the hope. They all have something to teach you. Most people numb these feelings, pushing them away, pretending they don't exist. But emotions are messages, not enemies. When you feel them without judgment, they lose their power to control you. They become guides, pointing you toward what needs healing. The reason many wake at this hour is because the soul is asking for attention. It wants peace. It wants truth. It wants you to stop running and start remembering who you are. Once you start connecting with that silence, you begin to understand something profound. That peace is not found when everything is perfect. It's found when you stop needing everything to be. The world outside will always be unpredictable. But the world within, that is your sanctuary. That is where mastery begins. Waking between 3 and 5 a.m. is not a punishment, it's training. It's life showing you that you are capable of discipline beyond comfort, awareness beyond noise, and presence beyond fear. If you can meet yourself in that darkness, you will never be lost in the light. Because in that space, before the sun rises, you find something unshakable. The calm within chaos, the strength within stillness. And once you've touched that space, you carry it with you through the day. You speak differently, you walk differently, you respond to life instead of reacting to it. This is how true warriors are formed. Not through constant battle, but through conscious awakening. And when you begin each morning rooted in that energy, everything in your life begins to shift toward purpose, clarity, and peace. When the stillness begins to settle and your breath becomes steady, the next shift happens inside your mind. Thoughts start to surface. Fragments of the past, unfinished dreams, regrets, or plans waiting to be born. Most people let these thoughts spiral into noise, but you must treat them differently. In these hours, your mind is clear, unguarded, and honest. What appears here is not random, it's truth rising to the surface. Don't fight it, don't push it away, observe it, let it unfold. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness watching them. That realization alone separates those who drift through life from those who master it. When you wake between 3 and 5 a.m., your subconscious mind is wide open. Science confirms it. The brain is in a theta state, the same state experienced in deep meditation and creativity. This is where transformation begins. It's the doorway between the conscious and the unseen, the physical and the spiritual. What you focus on in this state becomes powerful. It imprints itself onto your emotions, your habits, your destiny. That's why it's crucial to choose your thoughts with care. Don't replay yesterday's fears. Don't rehearse your failures. Instead, direct your mind toward what you wish to become. Visualize your life with precision and feeling. See yourself calm, focused, and strong. See yourself moving with purpose, no longer controlled by doubt or fear. The mind doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's real. It simply follows the picture you feed it. As you begin to visualize, something shifts in your energy. You start to feel what belief actually feels like. It's not loud or dramatic. It's quiet conviction. It's the kind of certainty that says, I don't know how yet, but I know I will. That's power. Great transformation starts with that inner yes. The moment you decide to believe in what hasn't happened yet. And when you do, your mind begins to align everything around that vision. This is the secret behind manifestation. Not magic or luck, but mental direction combined with emotional intensity. Use this sacred hour to plant those seeds. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer someone you love. The words you use in your mind become the blueprint for your reality. If you say you're not enough, life will prove you right. But if you speak from strength, if you affirm your purpose, life begins to respond in ways that seem almost miraculous. Because the universe doesn't give you what you wish for, it reflects what you believe you deserve. So when you find yourself awake before dawn, don't waste that power. Don't turn to your phone or try to escape the silence. Close your eyes and imagine the life that calls to you. Feel it as if it already exists. Picture the peace, the health, the strength, the freedom. Let that emotion fill your body. This is not pretending. This is programming your mind for reality. Because every action begins first as a thought. And every new version of you must be imagined before it can be lived. And as the night begins to fade and light begins to touch the world, you'll notice something different inside you, not just calm, but direction. You'll feel ready, not because the day is easy, but because you are centered. You are grounded in vision, anchored in purpose, and fully awake. That is how the strongest souls rise, not by waiting for perfect circumstances, but by creating strength in the quiet hours, long before the world even opens its eyes. When your mind becomes still and your vision begins to take shape, there is a pull you start to feel, the pull toward movement. The body awakens as the mind awakens. You cannot think yourself into strength. You must move into it. Between 3 and 5 a.m., your body is like untouched clay, soft, moldable, ready to take the form you give it. This is the time to reconnect with the vessel that carries your spirit through life. Too many people neglect this truth. They chase spiritual growth while ignoring the temple that sustains it. But every master knows energy flows where movement begins. Stand, stretch, breathe into the tightness. Feel your feet on the ground, your spine lengthen, your heartbeat steady. You are not just waking your muscles, you are waking awareness inside them. Each motion reminds you that you are alive, capable, strong. This isn't about performance or appearance, it's about presence. When you move with intention in the early hours, you align your body with your mind. You create balance between doing and being. Even a few minutes of mindful movement, slow stretches, deep breathing, gentle motion, can shift your entire state. It clears stagnant energy and makes space for clarity to enter. Physiologically, your body is transforming in these hours. Cortisol begins to rise, preparing you for the day. Your blood pressure increases slightly, signaling alertness. These are not random processes. They are the rhythm of life itself. By engaging your body consciously now, you ride that rhythm instead of being pulled by it. You take command of your energy before the world demands it. That is the difference between reacting to life and mastering it. The greatest warriors, monks, and thinkers all understood this truth, that control of the body leads to control of the mind, and control of the mind leads to mastery of life. Movement becomes meditation when it's done with awareness. Feel every breath as a rhythm. Feel the air against your skin. Let your movements be slow, deliberate, sacred. You are not just exercising, you are harmonizing your inner and outer worlds. The body stores memory. Every fear, every stress, every unspoken emotion hides within your muscles. When you move, you release those memories. You allow energy to flow again. That's why after mindful movement you feel lighter, clearer, more alive. It's not just physical, it's emotional cleansing. It's the art of unburdening yourself. If you listen carefully, your body will teach you things the mind never could. It will show you where you hold pain. It will remind you of the strength you've forgotten. It will reveal that you are not fragile, You are adaptable. You can bend without breaking. You can endure without losing grace. Every stretch, every breath, every pulse is proof that life still flows through you. And the more connected you become to this flow, the more resilient you grow. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop resisting it. When the body, mind, and spirit move together, something extraordinary happens. You start to feel grounded and expansive at the same time, rooted in the present, yet open to infinite possibility. You realize that discipline is not punishment, it's liberation. The choice to rise early, to move, to breathe, to center yourself before the world wakes, that is not sacrifice, that is power. Because while most are still asleep, you are already aligning your mind, your body, and your purpose. And from that alignment comes a strength that no external chaos can shake. The strength of someone who is truly awake. As your body begins to awaken and your breath moves with intention, your energy starts to rise. You can feel it. A quiet power building from within, like a flame that has waited too long to be seen. This is the moment to channel that energy inward, to shape it into focus. Because without direction, even the strongest energy scatters. The mind, like fire, can warm or destroy depending on how it's guided. In these sacred hours, your awareness becomes sharper, your emotions quieter, and your focus pure. This is when you train your inner eye, the power of attention, to see what truly matters. Sit in stillness. Let your body rest, but keep your mind awake. Focus on your breath, your heartbeat, the faint rhythm of life moving through you. The goal is not to stop your thoughts, but to watch them without attachment. Each thought that rises is a wave. Each wave passes when you stop chasing it. This is how you learn mastery. Not by forcing silence, but by creating space. And in that space, clarity appears. The noise of fear and distraction fades. What remains is truth, your truth. Psychologists call this the flow state, when awareness becomes effortless and presence becomes natural. But this is more than productivity, it's spiritual alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to move in one direction, you stop fighting yourself. You stop dividing your energy between who you are and who you pretend to be. In that unity, peace is born. You begin to realize that most of your suffering never came from what life did to you, but from your resistance to it, from the constant battle between acceptance and control. And as this truth sinks in, a weight begins to lift. Every time you return to focus, you strengthen a muscle that most people never train, the ability to remain calm in chaos. Because life will not slow down for you. The noise will never stop, but you can rise above it. The stillness you cultivate here becomes your armor. When others are pulled into distraction, you remain centered. When negativity tries to invade your mind, you breathe through it. You stop reacting and start responding. This is what true strength looks like. Not loud, not aggressive, but unshakable. In these moments of quiet focus, new thoughts begin to emerge. Ideas, insights, answers you've been seeking. The subconscious mind, finally free from noise, begins to speak in clarity. This is where creativity is born. This is where intuition awakens. You start seeing solutions where before you saw problems. You start realizing that the answers were always inside you. You just needed silence to hear them. This is the mental awakening that the early hours offer. It's not about forcing enlightenment. It's about allowing awareness to rise naturally without interference. And as you sit there, breathing in rhythm with the world before it wakes, you feel something subtle but profound. Control returning to your life, not control over outcomes, but over your state. You realize that nothing outside of you can take this peace away once it's found within. You understand that focus is freedom. And when the world begins to stir, when the noise of life returns, you won't be carried by it. You'll move through it with purpose, grounded, clear, awake, because now you've learned how to meet yourself where true power begins, in the stillness before dawn. When focus deepens and silence becomes your ally, the next shift is one of connection. You begin to sense that you are not a separate being observing the world, but part of the same living current that moves through everything. The early hours reveal this truth in ways daylight cannot. When the city is still and even the wind seems to hold its breath, you can feel the pulse of existence, the same rhythm that beats inside your chest. In that recognition, something profound happens. The illusion of isolation dissolves. The loneliness you once felt transforms into belonging. You realize you are not alone in your struggle, your hope, your becoming. You're part of something vast, intelligent, and sacred. This realization changes everything. Because when you see yourself as connected, your energy shifts from survival to creation. Fear loses its grip. The walls of self-doubt begin to crumble. You start to understand that life is not against you, it's responding to you. Every thought you hold, every emotion you feed, every action you take ripples outward. You are influencing the world far more than you realize. The vibrations you emit shape the experiences you attract. And in these quiet hours, when your mind is still and your heart is open, those vibrations are pure. They are aligned with truth. That's why what you feel now matters. The energy you cultivate here sets the tone for everything that follows. Take this time to express gratitude, not as a routine, but as a state of being. Gratitude is the bridge between the self and the universe. It softens the ego and opens the heart. When you focus on what is already present rather than what's missing, you shift your frequency from lack to abundance, and that shift changes your perception completely. You begin to see opportunities where before you saw obstacles. You start to feel supported, guided, even protected. Because gratitude doesn't just change your mood, it rewires your mind. It tells your subconscious that you are safe, that you already have enough, and that you are capable of creating more. In psychology, this state is called coherence, when your heart and mind are in harmony. When you think with emotion and feel with awareness. This coherence isn't mystical, it's measurable. Your heartbeat becomes more stable, your nervous system more balanced, your immune response stronger. Gratitude literally strengthens the body. It heals the parts of you that chaos once weakened. And from that healing comes expansion. You start to see life as it truly is, not a series of random events, but a mirror reflecting your internal state. As you sit in stillness, giving thanks for breath, for awareness, for the simple fact that you woke to another day, a quiet strength takes root. It's not dependent on anything external, not success, not recognition, not approval. It's the kind of strength that can't be taken, only cultivated. You feel it as calm confidence, as peace that needs no explanation. And from that peace, compassion grows, not just for others, but for yourself. You stop judging your journey. You stop comparing your path. You begin to trust the timing of your life. This is the reward of those who rise before the sun, the understanding that the world outside is only a reflection of the world within. When you fill your inner space with gratitude, presence, and awareness, everything around you begins to align with that energy. You no longer chase peace, you radiate it. You no longer seek purpose, you embody it. And in that moment of quiet connection, you understand the truth that every awakened soul eventually discovers. You were never trying to find light in the darkness. You were learning to realize that you have been the light all along. When you realize that the light has always been within you, a new kind of responsibility awakens. The responsibility to protect it, to nurture it, and to share it. Because once you've touched stillness, once you've felt connection and clarity, you can no longer return to a life lived half awake. The soul doesn't let you unsee what you've seen. It begins to push you gently but firmly toward alignment, toward living as the person you were always meant to be. The hours between 3 and 5 a.m. are not just about awakening, they are about preparation. This is the time to design your direction, to anchor your purpose into action. Without purpose, even peace fades. You must give your awakening a reason to exist. Purpose isn't found by thinking harder. It's revealed through honesty. Ask yourself in these quiet moments, what truly matters to me? What makes my spirit come alive? Don't search for perfect answers. Listen for the subtle pull, the whisper of intuition guiding you forward. It's often something simple: to grow, to serve, to heal, to create. That feeling, that instinct is the compass of your soul. When you follow it, life begins to arrange itself in unexpected ways. Synchronicities appear, doors open, people cross your path at the exact moment you need them. What others call coincidence is simply alignment, the universe responding to clarity. Once you glimpse your direction, protect it from distraction. The world is full of noise, opinions, expectations, illusions of success. If you don't define your purpose, the world will define it for you. Every morning before the world wakes, remind yourself of what you're building. Visualize it, speak it, feel it in your body as if it already exists. The mind follows repetition. The more you declare your vision, the more it becomes real. This is not self-deception, it's self-direction. You are teaching your subconscious to see opportunity where it once saw limitation. The psychology behind purpose is powerful. Studies show that people with a clear sense of meaning live longer, recover faster, and experience greater resilience during hardship. Purpose regulates your emotions and amplifies your courage. It gives every struggle a reason and every setback a lesson. When you anchor your mornings in purpose, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you always rise with intention. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what is this teaching me? That single shift changes everything. And as purpose takes root, discipline becomes effortless. You no longer need external motivation because your energy is fueled from within. You rise early not because you have to, but because your mission calls you. You move through the day with calm conviction. You no longer chase validation. You live from truth. This is what it means to walk the path of awakening, to merge spirit and structure, stillness and strength, being and becoming. In this space, every morning becomes sacred. Every sunrise becomes a reminder that you have another chance to live aligned with meaning. The same light that breaks through the horizon now burns within you, urging you to create, to serve, to evolve. And as you act from that space, you begin to notice the transformation, not in what you own, but in who you are. Because when purpose fuels your day, every step becomes meditation, every challenge becomes growth, and every breath becomes proof that you are living not by default, but by divine design. When you begin to live with purpose, something inside you shifts permanently. You stop waiting for motivation to arrive because you've built a fire that burns from within. But that fire must be tended. It needs structure, intention, and protection. The energy you awaken before dawn is sacred, and if you want it to grow, you must learn to direct it toward creation. Every thought, every word, every action becomes part of your spiritual practice. The hours between 3 and 5 a.m. are the foundation, but how you carry that energy into the day defines the strength of your awakening. This is where transformation turns into embodiment. The first act of creation each morning is choice. You choose what to focus on, how to respond, what energy to bring into the world. The mind will try to pull you back into old habits, fear, comparison, distraction. But now you know better. Awareness gives you freedom. When you catch the old patterns trying to reclaim your peace, pause, return to your breath. Remember what you felt in those early hours, the stillness, the power, the clarity. Let that memory guide you back into alignment. You don't fight your darkness anymore, you guide it toward light. Every time you act with intention, you strengthen the neural pathways of purpose. Science shows that repeated focus reshapes the brain. The more you live consciously, the easier it becomes. Gratitude rewires perception. Focus retrains attention. Discipline restructures identity. You stop being someone who hopes for change and become someone who embodies it. This is not instant transformation. It's evolution through awareness. And the beauty of it is that every single morning gives you another chance to begin again, stronger and clearer than before. As you move through your day, treat every interaction as a reflection of your inner state. The way you speak, the energy you bring into a room, the thoughts you entertain, they all send signals to life itself. Energy is contagious, and you are always teaching the world how to treat you by the vibration you emit. Carry the peace you found in the early hours into your work, your relationships, your challenges. Let your calm become a silent influence that steadies others. This is how awakened living spreads, not through preaching, but through presence. It's easy to drift when life becomes noisy again, but even in chaos, you now carry an inner stillness that nothing can shake. You've seen what peace feels like. You've met the version of yourself that moves with purpose. You've tasted the clarity that comes from silence. And because of that, you can return to it anytime, not just at 3 a.m., but in every moment that tests your strength. The early hours were never about a specific time. They were about awakening a timeless awareness within you. Soon you'll notice how everything begins to synchronize. People appear when you need them. Opportunities align with your values. The pace of life begins to match the rhythm of your soul. This is not coincidence, it's resonance. When your energy is coherent, the external world reflects it. The same stillness that once woke you in the middle of the night now moves through your waking life as quiet confidence. And as the day unfolds, you carry a simple truth that changes everything. Peace is not found in escape, but in engagement. It's not in running from the world, but in walking through it awake. You are no longer chasing balance. You are creating it with every breath, every choice, every sunrise. The same light that once called you from your sleep now guides you through every hour of your existence. You have become what you once sought, not just awakened for a moment, but truly alive for a lifetime.